Antwerp-Bruges holds a prominent position as a maritime and chemical hub in Belgium, known for its strategic location and abundant infrastructure. In addition to being one of Europe's largest ports and the biggest chemical cluster, the Port of Antwerp has also emerged as a significant player in expanding hydrogen industry, actively promoting hydrogen-related projects to expedite the transition towards cleaner energy sources. Through extensive partnerships and collaborations, the port has become a leading hub within the hydrogen ecosystem, attracting global businesses and millions of investment. And today, we are more than privileged to speak with Mr. Tom Hautekiet, Chief Commercial Officer of the Port of Antwerp-Bruges, as we delve into their hydrogen strategies. I'm Molly Huang from the Organizing Committee of the Investing in Green Hydrogen 2023. It is my immense pleasure to welcome here Mr. Tom Hautekiet. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. So, Mr. Hautekiet, to begin, let's talk about the port's overall strategy. As Antwerp aims to become the European hydrogen import hub, can you explain to us the port's role in facilitating hydrogen importation and distribution in Europe, and how does it plan to leverage its strategic location and infrastructure to be a key player in the hydrogen industry?
Well, yes, thank you for giving me the platform. As you know, or as you may know, that we are a port which has had a merger 1 year ago. So the Port of Antwerp and the Port of Zeebrugge merged as one new family, so the Port of Antwerp-Bruges. We have the several reasons why we have done is because we have sectors and economies which are quite complementary to each other, both from a sector segment point of view, but also from a regional point of view. Zooming in a bit on energy transition, energy transition has really been one of the drivers for that merger, as we are convinced that we can really take a leading role in the energy transition in Europe. And why is that? Because we have with Port of Antwerp, the platform in Antwerp, we have the biggest chemical cluster in Europe, the second in the world, and a huge foundation, but also a huge need for all types of green, blue-green molecules in the future. Next to that, with the Port of Zeebrugge, we have, of course, we have another location, we have a direct sea access, but we are also one of the major importation hubs and have the infrastructure available for importing LNG already today. So we import already 15% of the LNG today in the Port of Zeebrugge. So both platforms together, bringing them together, and also working on the necessary pipelines between each other, makes that we really have a head start to bring all the molecules into Europe, and we are extremely good positioned to supply not only our own customers on the platform, but also the very big industrial network, which is requiring a lot of molecules in the future. We will take a leading role into that. So that is one of the major, that has been one of the major drivers for ourselves to make that merger. Now, why is this so important? As everybody knows, Europe has decided that by 2030 that we need to produce on our own platforms and in our own regions, that we need to produce 10 million tons of hydrogen by 2030, but that we will require also a lot of importation of green molecules, also 10 million tons by 2030. And that is, of course, a huge challenge. Why is this so important in our region? Is because we lack wind or sun, of course, to make the production of hydrogen all by ourselves. This is more possible in Southern Europe and in other regions in the world. But in our region, every analysis shows that importation will be of crucial importance. It does not mean that we do not have some smaller projects, also proof of concept projects on the platform itself, where we will produce hydrogen ourselves on the platform. We have a case in Antwerp where we will have a production facility of 100 megawatts on the short term, and also in Zeebrugge we are working on a local production of hydrogen on the short term, meaning short term 25, 2026. So that's more proof of concept. But our major focus is indeed going into importation. Importation for all reasons. Importation, of course, as a feedstock for the chemical industry, but also as an energy supply to Belgium itself, but also to Germany and other regions in Europe. And in order to focus and to make that a bit tangible, because a lot has been changed and has changed in the last years, we made a roadmap with our team. We made a type of plan with our team on which type of actions we need to work. And it's really split into 3 axes. We are really verifying the supply side, where the molecules will come from. We are working also on the local infrastructure. How do we need to organize ourselves in order to import, to make it possible that we can land those molecules in our ports and that we have the necessary places and investments available. And then the third one is try to understand also what do we need for ourselves on the platform as a feedstock, and also what is Germany and other countries, what are the volumes, the timelines, and type of molecules they are expecting us to be able to supply.
Thank you, Mr. Hautekiet, for your very kind address. I would say Port of Antwerp not only provides an import and export gateway of hydrogen, but also illustrates the vast potential of integrating hydrogen technologies into existing industry hubs and jointly contributing to the climate comeback. But let's not forget that collaboration and the partnerships are also crucial for the success of hydrogen projects. How does the Port of Antwerp-Bruges foster collaboration with industry stakeholders, such as government, research institutions, businesses, etc.? Are there any specific initiatives or partnerships you would like to highlight?
Well, indeed, the words explains it by itself. We are talking about transition, and transition, it means that you need to talk to new partners, new organizations where you were not talking to in the past. The good news is that it's quite easily already for ourselves to do so, because we may not forget that today we are already a major hub of importation of all types of molecules. We do import already, and we do handle already a lot of methanol, of ammonia already today in our several terminals and in our port platforms. So it's not new. So we know the people already which are handling and producing those molecules. We have already the knowledge also to how to handle them and how to transport them. Maybe, but the color will change in the future. But the way how we handle them, we are used to do that. The interesting part of the transition is that indeed nobody can solve this by its own. So you have to collaborate by a lot of people. And it means that we have started up some years ago already to team up everybody who's on our platform, which plays an active role already in producing or transporting all types of molecules, to bring them together and try to understand what we should do. And we have several nice cases which we build around. For instance, we have a project which is Antwerp at Sea. Antwerp at Sea, it's not about hydrogen, but it's really about the capturing of the sea, the CO2, so what we call CCU and CCS. So we have there a collaboration with all the different players on the platform, where we made a coalition of the willing, and where we are already doing as we speak, where we have taken already the investment programs and the budgets really put on place. Also, Europe has seen that we have a major program on that and have done an extremely important investment to help us on that, to get it started. I think it's the biggest CCU CCS program in Europe as these days. And there we are talking with all the different players on the platform, be it Total, be it BASF, everybody who's requiring and has a role to play into that. So that's just one example. So bringing everybody together. Another example is, for instance, that we had a what we call the Hydrogen Import Coalition. So where we have brought a group of people and companies together in order each of them having a different role in the full supply chain, in order to understand how we will get those molecules in our direction. To which type of countries should we look at in order to be sure that we get the molecules via Antwerp and Bruges into Europe. And of course, now it becomes all clear around the world. We have scanned more of 300 projects around the world, where hydrogen will be produced. But it means that for ourselves, it became quite clear with that group of people to which countries we should talk to and which type of molecules will be produced in which country and could come in our European direction. And that's why we have taken initiatives with not only with the Hydrogen Import Coalition, but also then by ourselves in order to create programs in other places around the world to take initiatives, to take new partnerships. And then we talk about countries like Oman, Chile, Namibia, countries where we are sure that big production center will be created and where we are really cooperating, but also investing if needed in local hubs, in local exportation centra in order to be a partner on the full supply chain. So it completely changes our DNA, where a part in the past was really focusing on a specific location where cargo was passing. Now we really change in being a player in the full supply chain. So it means that, for instance, to give you a very concrete idea, we are the shareholder of 25% of the Port of Duqm, and the Port of Duqm is located in Oman, and it's one of the most interesting places in the world to produce green molecules and bring them to Europe. So it's not only on an importation part that we are focusing, but also on the export platform where the molecules will be produced and come in our direction. I can give more and more examples. As every country is creating its own hydrogen council, for instance. Germany has its own council, France has its own council. So we also in Belgium, we have grouped every party who is playing somewhere in the supply chain an important role in hydrogen, being for importation or production or a technology leader. We bring everybody together, more than 100 companies. And in fact, we define what the Belgian federal and regional program should be to be a leading partner in hydrogen. And the Port of Antwerp-Bruges has taken really there a leadership role. And in fact, I'm there also the chairman of the board of the council. And these are all ideas or these are all concepts where we really are challenging ourselves to talk to new people, new partners around the world, not only in Belgium. So we're really looking at who should we team up to become a major importation hub for Europe. And I think we have really, in the last 2 years, we have completely changed our position. And I think everybody is also aware that we are not just showing some slides, but we are really taking the decisions also on infrastructure and on investment on the local platform to make it happen and to be sure by 27, 28, we are ready for massive importation of molecules.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hautekiet, for your very kind address. Well said that colors may change, experiences standing high, and we can see Port of Antwerp not only goes the traditional way, but also goes beyond the tradition and extends its boundaries and energize the sector with new ingredients. Thank you for that. And last but not least, developing a robust and interconnected hydrogen infrastructure is vital for the growth of the hydrogen sector. What infrastructure investments or developments are being undertaken in Antwerp to support the hydrogen ecosystem? Can you give us some examples, particularly in aspects of hydrogen storage, transport, and distribution facilities?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It all starts with trying to understand what really will be the requirement. And this is an easy question, but a very difficult one to answer because we are talking about transition. So it means that we have to talk to all the players on the platform. Again, second biggest chemical cluster in the world, biggest in Europe. So it means that from every player, we need to understand what their requirement is, on which type of molecule, and on which timeline. That's on our own platform. But also we need to understand what is Germany and other regions in Europe, what are they requiring as importation of new molecules, and in how far are they looking at the Port of Antwerp-Bruges to be, in fact, their corridor or their channel to be able to supply those molecules. So really mapping out the requirements and the molecule types and the timeline is one big, massive exercise. Second, we need also not only from an industrial perspective, but also from a marine perspective. We are a huge port. We are in the top 5 bunkering ports in the world. We need also to understand from every player, operator in the world, how they will order new vessels and what the molecules are for their new vessels and how much they will bunker in their ports. Yeah, so that's the second input. So bringing all those data together is, of course, what we are working on with an interesting team. Once you have that, we are talking to the local players in the ports in order also to be sure that they are step by step changing their bunker facilities. And we do see that it fits. What we think on the figures we will be able to supply for ourselves and to Germany and the marine business, we do see that we will be able to have those bunker capacities available on the right time by 2030. And then next to that, of course, we are building and we are putting now, as we speak, in the market, in fact, a new plot of land where we will have a landing terminal for green molecules in Antwerp on a very short term. So it's not on the long term, but on a very short term, we have a project, for instance, where we will work with people like Advario, Fluxys, and many others on a landing terminal, and even more than one landing terminal in Antwerp. And we talk about the timeline of 27, 28. By the latest. Similar, we will have a landing terminal also most probably in Zeebrugge. Also similar timeline, 27, 28, in installation of a landing terminal in Zeebrugge of ammonia, which can be cracked then also into hydrogen again. So creating landing terminals is a very specific action, which is already in the FID or in the market research, where we want to give already to specific players the right plots of land. Then next to that, we want to focus on pipelines, because we will, of course, require also a lot of pipelines. We created already, and we have already a daughter company, which is called Pipelink, which is having already in the portfolio 1,000 kilometers of pipeline, and where we will do extra investments on the short term in order to be able to transport the molecules also from Zeebrugge in the direction of Antwerp, but also to the German border. And this goes, of course, for all types of molecules, hydrogen, but also in the other direction for CO2, because we want also to capture the CO2 out of Germany, centralize it in Antwerp and Zeebrugge, and have there a CO2 export hub in order to bring those molecules to empty gas fields in the North Sea. So we focus mainly on pipelines, on landing terminals, and on bunker capacity. And we continues make the exercise, are we on track with what the requirements are for our own market, but also for the German market. And it becomes really clear already that we are on track and that we really have specific investment case to fulfill our requirements by 2030. But we have some things also on the short term. So we walk the talk, and we do also some smaller projects. For instance, we have already a refueling station in Antwerp with the partner CMB. who has the first hydrogen refueling station already in Europe, and it's not a dream, it's active. It's next to our port house. It's something which is visible and useful already today. So there people are really already filling trucks by hydrogen today. We ordered the first, and we have it already in the port, the first hydrogen tugboat in the world, which will be the first tugboat on hydrogen in our port, which can be can be filled in the refuel station. So these are all initiatives where we really want to walk the talk and to show people that it's really specific projects and it's not a dream, it's not a slide, it's happening as we do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hautekiet, for your very unique address and the sharing. Sounds like a long journey looking ahead, but that's why collaborations and the partnerships are so important, and pioneers like Port of Antwerp plays a key role. Undoubtedly, the Port of Antwerp's proactive stance in the hydrogen industry sets an example for other ports and regions follow. Once again, we express our heartfelt gratitude for your generous sharing. It is such an honor to have you with us, and we eagerly anticipate your presence at the Investing in Green Hydrogen 2023 in London. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you.